Hey guys, I wanted to talk about a topic that I've been reading about a lot lately, and that is marriage. Marriage is something that's very interesting to me. I think a lot of people take it for granted, but it's something that is going to be a big part for many of our lives. It's a very big commitment, potentially for the rest of your life. As long as you live, every single moment is going to affect you. I was reading an article on Psychology Today, and it was talking about why many people tend to lose interest in their marriage. You got the idea that you say, till death do us part, we're going to love each other, and normally it's very intense at the beginning, but it normally dies down after a while. According to this article, it normally takes about 2 years or so until the emotions start to die down and you get more into the groove of things. The thing about being married isn't as special and magical anymore. And that's very interesting to me. It's talking about the biology behind it, because apparently if you're married to someone or you just stay with someone and you find them attractive all the time, that can make you more prone to incest. And of course, having incest, that doesn't have very good children. They tend to have genetic defects. So it was beneficial for us to build that into our biology, that you're not just going to find one person attractive forever and ever and ever. This really makes me want to talk about two important things regarding marriage, though. And it's going to be kind of funny to talk about them because they sound contradictory, but I guarantee you that the way I'm going to talk about them, they aren't contradictory. One, we make too big of a deal of marriage. It's not as big of a deal as we make it. And two, it's way bigger than we make it. And obviously I'm talking about different things. It can't be both too big and too small in the same way. But let me explain. First off, I think that people have the traditional view of marriage, if that makes any sense. When I say that, what I'm talking about is more so the image that it's just perfect, and you find this person, you fall in love, and you stay with them forever and ever and ever. And, because of that, people often view divorce and the marriage ending as a very negative thing. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that divorce is a good thing, like, yay, you're divorced. But I definitely think the existence of divorce is a good thing because it allows you to move on when there's a trouble. Most people like divorce because if you have an abusive spouse or something like that, or if someone cheats on you, then it gives you a way to get out and leave. But the thing that most people don't talk about is how sometimes a relationship just changes. Like, sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's not the same thing. You think you know them, but you really don't. And I think that's a very important thing. I read on Gallup, though, and this was an old statistic. I wanted to find something more current, but the most current thing I could find was 2008. Sorry about that, but it was talking about how in 2008, apparently 70% of people thought that divorce was acceptable morally, which means that 30% of people thought it wasn't morally acceptable. And that's a very interesting topic to me, because what does it mean to say that divorce is not morally acceptable? It reminds me of this picture that was floating around on Facebook like a year ago. I don't even know if I could find it anymore. But this is this old couple, and basically they're asked, how did your marriage stay so strong so long? And like, well, back in my day when something was wrong, we fixed it. We didn't just throw it away. This is the mentality that, oh, you're a quitter? You're quitting? You don't quit. You don't quit. You stick with it, and you build the best of it. And here's the thing about quitting. It's really not that bad. It's not that bad to quit. Granted that you're quitting in order to pursue something better, or to make your life as a whole better. If you're just quitting because you don't want to deal with it and you want life to be easier, that's not a good excuse. But if you're leaving that relationship because you want something better, in that you feel like the passion that you had for them died down, and you need to pursue something stronger in your life, or you need to find someone who you can more closely identify with, I don't think that's a bad thing. Obviously, we have the law to enforce, like, alimony, I think it's called, and then child support payments and custody and such. There's a lot of ways we deal with that. So I don't think that divorce is necessarily a bad thing. I think we take it too seriously in that way. Because you have to be together forever. That's the image. But while it doesn't have to happen, I definitely think that's the ideal. And that's the other way. We don't take it seriously enough. A lot of people are so into the idea of marriage. Like, I have a lot of friends who say that they want to get married soon, or they want to get married as soon as they can, or when they find the right person, or something like that. But the thing about marriage, like this article talked about, when you have passion with someone, that passion isn't going to stay strong forever. Love isn't just a feeling that you have, like, oh, well, I'm in love with this person. It's something very deep and intimate. And by that, I mean you have to put a lot into it. It requires a lot of work and a lot of effort. It requires from both people to put so much into it. It requires a lot of selflessness. Like, you have to give up your interest in favor of the other person, and then they'll do that for you as well. I feel like that's why a lot of relationships don't last, because they get together when the initial spike is going on, and then when it stops, they just lose focus. They don't keep going for it. Like, you have to keep going. You can't just go on the initial feeling. The feeling is like the momentum that's pushing you forward. But you got to use that to go as fast and as far as you can. And if you don't do that, it's not going to last. And that's the problem. I think that if people are going to get married, they have to realistically look at their relationship and make sure it's something that they really can get behind and something that really will work for them. That's just my opinion anyway. I know that's a controversial topic, but I just think that we view marriage the wrong way in a lot of ways. And that if you're ever going to find happiness with one person and it's just going to work out for you, you have to be honest about it and actually look at these things. Because if you don't, then you're not going to be in the happy relationship that you want to be. You're just going to take the first chance that looks like a happy relationship. But maybe like 5 years down the road, you'll realize you made the wrong decision and you'll regret it. And then what do you do? Well, you can obviously get divorced or something like that, but it's not the ideal. So I guess it leaves this question, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to just jump on the first boat that comes, or are you going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you have the right opportunity? And these aren't really new thoughts. They're just what I think about the experience. So, and it's also me worrying about what would happen in my life in the future, I guess.